Krishna Presthaya Bhutale Srimate Bhakti Vedanta Swamin Niti Namine Namaste Saraswate Deve Gauravani Pracharine Nirvishesha Shunyavadi Paschatya Deshatarine Jaya Shri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Shri Advaita Gadadhara Srivasadi Gaura Bhakta Vrinda Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama 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 Hare Hare. Okay, today we are going to read from the 15th chapter of the Bhagavad Gita, and we are going to discuss some important life lessons from this instructions given by Lord Krishna in the 15th chapter. So just for the information of those who have come first time, Bhagavad Gita, it is literally the song of God. Bhagavat means of Bhagavan. Gita means song. So Bhagavad Gita is the conversation between Arjuna and Lord Shri Krishna on the battlefield of Kurukshetra. When Arjuna was confused, perplexed about his duties on the battlefield of Kurukshetra, he approaches or he requests Lord Krishna to give him clarity of purpose. And so the Lord speaks the Bhagavad Gita, by hearing to which Arjuna understands the purpose of his existence. Now, before we do anything in life, we must know why I exist. Why does this world exist? What is that which I am supposed to achieve as a human being? If this clarity is not there, then we will not have proper direction in life. That is so important, isn't it? To have clarity in life is the biggest, I could say, biggest happiness in life. You know, people nowadays, there is more emphasis given on how to do things in life. But why to do, that is not so much emphasized. What to do, how to do, when to do, these are all, people worry about it so much. But why should I do what I am doing? This why is so important. So this is called jignyasa, inquisitiveness we must have as human beings. So Arjuna had this inquisitiveness. Sometimes difficulties in life, perplexities in life help us to reconsider the purpose of what we are doing. That's what happened to Arjuna. Arjuna knew that he had to fight against his own cousins. Arjuna knew that he had to fight against great warriors like Bhishma, Drona and all of them. But when he came on the battlefield and when he saw those relatives standing against him, and when the very thought that he had to literally kill them if he had to achieve victory in the war, that created a kind of nervousness, that created some kind of a compassion. It evoked compassion in his heart. And that compassion was not allowing him to be at peace. It created doubts in him, in his mind. So that is the genesis of this Bhagavad Gita. So when he had these doubts, he appeals to his dear friend Krishna, who out of his love and affection for Arjuna had become the chariot driver for Arjuna. So when he asks these questions and seeks clarity, that is when Krishna starts speaking this knowledge. Right? Lord Krishna says, Nahi jnanena sadrusham pavitram iha vidyate. There is nothing which is as great as this knowledge which I am speaking to you. Nahi jnanena sadrusham. Sadrusham means equal to, comparable with. There is nothing comparable to this knowledge of Bhagavad Gita which I am going to speak to you now, O Arjuna. It is pavitram, it is the most pure, purifying. Right? Therefore, please hear with attention. Right? Before this conversation, before the Bhagavad Gita was spoken, there was a friendly talk between Arjuna and Krishna. But then Arjuna, he surrenders to Krishna as a disciple. He says, Shishyasteham shadhimam tvam prapannam. In the second chapter of the Gita it comes, where Arjuna says, now I am a Shishya, I am a disciple. Shishya means what? I am ready to be controlled by your instructions. The word Shishya comes from the Sanskrit dhatu, shas. Shas means to come under control, to control. A Shishya is one who voluntarily agrees to get controlled, get commanded by the Guru, by the spiritual master. So Arjuna said, let us stop our friendly talks, let us have a serious discussion. You become my Guru and I shall become your disciple. Kindly enlighten me as to what I should be doing in life. So by hearing this knowledge of Bhagavad Gita, at the end we understand Arjuna says, Nashto moham smritir labdha. O Janardana, O Krishna, by your instructions, Nashto moha, all my moha, my illusion is gone. It is gone just by hearing this knowledge. You gave me clarity. Nashto moha smritir labdha. I have regained my memory as to what is my duty through your instructions. So one important thing we should note is, even though Krishna, he is the Supreme Lord, he is the Master of the world, he did not tell Arjuna that Arjuna, you don't fight, you just sit down, go to Himalayas and do tapasya. I will do everything. Krishna could have done that. It was not impossible for him. But Krishna wanted Arjuna to fight the war. To fight war. We are also fighting war in our daily life. The biggest war is against our own mind. Isn't it? We want to do something, our mind opposes it. So we also get into a lot of dilemma every now and then in life, just like Arjuna. Confusion. What is good? Should I do this or should I do that? What is good for me? So we should not think that this knowledge of Bhagavad Gita which Krishna spoke was relevant only to Arjuna. No, we also are going through dilemmas and situations in life which require us to seek clarity. Therefore, this knowledge of Bhagavad Gita is very relevant to all of us. And the interesting way that Krishna chooses to educate Arjuna, that's very interesting. Krishna does not simply address the challenge which Arjuna was particularly going through. What was Arjuna's particular challenge? What was his challenge? Whether I should fight this war or not. That was his challenge. Isn't it? Krishna does not address only that. In fact, Krishna talks about a bigger purpose of life. Srila Prabhupada ki jai. So Lord Krishna talks about a higher purpose of life. It's like, suppose you have one question. You come and ask me the question, the doubt. So I can just give an answer to that particular question and end the conversation there. But I can also choose to tell you many more things which will expand your horizon, which will expand your thinking, which will equip you with more knowledge, which will enable you to handle more such questions and dilemmas which may come up in your life in the future. So which is a better way of imparting knowledge? One is just, you asked me something and immediately I tell this is the answer and you're okay. The question and answer you got and it's over. But if I can tell you something more, if I can introduce you to a vast systematic knowledge which will enable you to handle more challenges which will come up in the future. That's a better way of teaching. That is why Krishnam Vande Jagat Guru. Krishna, he is the foremost of the Jagat Gurus. Why? Because Krishna could have simply told Arjuna, he could have given a motivating speech to Arjuna and he could have told, go and fight. He could have done only that much, but he didn't do that. Right? He actually introduced Arjuna to a whole understanding about human life itself, purpose of human life itself. So that is how Bhagavad Gita is a transformative knowledge. We should not think, many people have this idea, Bhagavad Gita was spoken on the battlefield. If I have Bhagavad Gita book in my house, there will be battle, there will be quarrels at home. Many people say like that. No. In fact, the entire Bhagavad Gita, if you see the 700 shlokas, maybe two or three times Krishna would have told fight. Fight Arjuna, fight. Apart from that, the knowledge that Krishna is giving is something deeper. Something which defines the very purpose of our existence. So therefore, knowledge of Bhagavad Gita is very relevant to all of us at all times because Krishna is speaking eternal truth here. Sanatana Satya, he is speaking eternal truth. Right? And Krishna utilizes that opportunity to give us the knowledge of Bhagavad Gita. Krishna utilizes the situation of Arjuna to enlighten him and to all of us, to enlighten all of us this knowledge. So therefore, very relevant, very important in life. If one wants clarity in life, if one wants the art of meaningful living, if one wants to know, then one should study Bhagavad Gita. So we are now at the 15th chapter of the Bhagavad Gita. This is called the Purushottama Yoga, Yoga of the Supreme Person, it is called. Every chapter of the Bhagavad Gita is called Yoga. Why? Because yoga comes from the yuj dhatu. Yuj means to connect, to link. So the basic understanding that we get from this Bhagavad Gita is we are part of God. We are part of Krishna. Right now, we have forgotten our relationship with Krishna. And now, human life is actually meant for reconnecting with Krishna, relinking ourselves with Krishna. The Atma has to be connected with the Paramatma. And that's why this knowledge is spoken. Therefore, this is called Yoga Shastra. Yoga Shastra. Shastra means scripture, set of instructions, which will enable us to connect with Krishna. That's why yoga means to connect, to link. Right? So here, in this chapter, many interesting things are brought about. So we will go through. It's one of the shortest chapters. Only 20 verses are there in this chapter. We will go through all the verses and we will see what Krishna is trying to tell us in this chapter. We will also repeat the shlokas. You can all repeat. So we'll begin with shloka 1. Shri Bhagavan Uvacha Urdhva Moolam Ashwatham Prahuravyayam Chandamsi Yasya Parnani Yastam Veda Savedavet. The meaning is, the blessed Lord said, there is a banyan tree which has its roots upward and its branches down, and whose leaves are the Vedic hymns. One who knows this tree is the knower of the Vedas. So Krishna is speaking in a very cryptic way here, right? He's saying there is a banyan tree and its roots are down and its roots are up and branches are down. Generally, any tree when we see, you can see this tree here. This tree has branches up, roots are down. But here Krishna is saying there is one banyan tree for which roots are up and its branches are down. So what does it mean? And he says, the leaves of the tree are the Vedic hymns. And one who knows this tree is the knower of the Vedas. What does it mean? Actually here, when do you see a tree upside down? Shadow, good. Or reflection. So when you go to a river bank or a lake, and on the banks of that lake there is a tree, and if you look at the reflection of the tree in the water, you will see rivers ulta. Pinhole camera. Yeah, pinhole also it gives you a. There is one, when you said pinhole, I remember. In Hampi, there is one temple, Virupaksha temple. And there you can actually see the pinhole effect. If you have seen videos are also available. This shows how our ancient builders, they had all this, they were aware of all this optical phenomena. Anyway, so here when you see the reflection of the tree in the lake or in the still water, you will see it upside down. So what is that Krishna trying to say here? Srila Prabhupada explains in the purport. He says this is nothing but the material world. There are two worlds. The world in which we are living right now is called material world. Okay, material world. Why it's called material world? Because everything here is made up of matter. We all have studied matter. Science is all about studying the properties of matter, isn't it? Our body is also made up of matter. Everything around us is made up of matter. This is called material world. Correct? Now in the second chapter of the Bhagavad Gita, Krishna has already told there are two kinds of realities. One is the material world, material reality. The other one is the spiritual reality. Again in the 7th chapter also, Krishna talks about this. So, what are we? Are we this body? Are we this material body? Yes or no? What do you feel? Body is material, but am I this material body? What do you feel? Yes or no? No. What about others? The Bhagavad Gita says no. In the very beginning, in the 2nd chapter itself, Krishna says, we are not the body, we are soul. Right? So, Krishna introduces us to a reality which is not visible to us. What we are seeing in this world is only material reality. That's also reality. It's not illusion. It's a reality. But this material reality goes through changes. Correct? It goes through changes. It goes through transformation. But there is another reality which is changeless. And that is called spirit or soul. Soul does not go through changes. Body goes through changes. Soul does not go through changes. So we are the changeless reality. We are not this changing reality. This is very important for us to know. Body keeps changing. But we always, suppose now you are 20 years old. 20 years back, something's happened in your life. Maybe, let's say, 15 years back, something happened in your life. When you were a 5-year-old boy. You remember something which happened, no? Vaguely you remember something, faintly you remember, oh, I was a boy, 5-year-old boy, I went there, I went to some place, my parents took me. Something you remember vaguely. That means you are still the same person. But look at your body, what has happened to it. Where is that 5-year-old body now? Where is it gone? Where is it? Is it the same body? It has grown. They say it has improved, it has grown. But including the brain cells, all the cells of our body are replaced with new cells every 7 years. Every 7 years, all the cells of our body, they are replaced, including the brain cells. It's not the same cells, it's not the same set of cells. The entire content itself is revamped every 7 years. Revamped, improvised version of your body. Anything that keeps changing cannot be called as your identity. The very meaning of identity means what? Identity means what? Something which something which has to be same. Then only you call it as identity. Correct? No, it cannot change. Suppose now you call some atom as carbon. And the next moment, if that carbon becomes some other element, radioactive carbon, it will decompose and produce some more. Then it is no more that same. It has changed in properties, physical properties, chemical properties. So that it is placed in a different position in the periodic table. Now it is given a different name. Correct, no? That atom which was behaving like carbon atom a few seconds before, now it is behaving like some other atom. Then it's not easy to identify. So something which is changing cannot be your identity. This is what Bhagavad Gita is saying. Something which is changing cannot be your identity. That which is changeless, that which is constant, that is within this body, that is your identity, and that is called as Atma, soul. It is anti-material. It is anti-material in properties. That means all the limitations which apply to the material body do not apply to the spirit soul. For example, body grows, soul does not grow. Body becomes old, soul does not become old. Body goes through diseases, soul does not go through diseases. Soul only experiences all these things, which is very important. So we are like a space traveler sitting in a space vehicle. Each one of us. We are like the traveler, spaceman, astronaut. Astronaut sitting in a space vehicle. The space vehicle is the body. You are the astronaut. As the space vehicle goes through different atmospheres, different planets, different whatever it is experiencing, you can only experience, right? You experience. You are not changing. This is very important. This we have to understand. Now, why do we feel that we have become old? Why do I feel when some problem comes to my body and mind, I become so depressed, I become so much affected by it? Why? Why?
Because of experience.
No, I am experiencing. I can say that every moment we are not conscious that we are only experiencing. We become so much affected by it also, no? Why we become affected? Why we become affected? If I am not the body and I am not the mind, external things what are all bothering my body and mind are bothering me so much. I am getting affected by it so much. Why? So Bhagavad Gita answers this. This is due to identification with the body. We are identifying ourselves with the body. I am thinking that I am this body. That is the root cause of the miseries that we are experiencing. And the happiness also. Happiness and miseries that come in our life, that come and go, we become very much affected by them because we are thinking that we are this body. Actually, the soul cannot be touched by these miseries. Soul is aloof. Soul exists in a different dimension. But since the soul has the ability to think, feel, will, the soul, we are identifying ourselves with the body and we are getting affected by these things. Now the whole knowledge of Bhagavad Gita is meant to bring us out of this illusion, bring us out of this ignorance. What is that ignorance? I am the body. That is the ignorance. To come out of this ignorance, we need a very powerful, power-packed impact we need. And that happens at two levels, Jnana and Vijnana. Jnana means theoretical knowledge that we understand from Bhagavad Gita. And Vijnana means practical realization. So we have to understand the theory given in Bhagavad Gita, and with the help of the Acharya, we have to put them into action. Put this knowledge into action. Then it becomes realization. For example, I am not the body, I am soul. When you hear it for the first time, it is only a theoretical statement. Yeah, I am not the body, I am soul. So what? Now you have to realize it. Realize means what? It's already a fact. I have to become more conscious of it in my daily life. That's called realization. Correct? It's already a fact, but I have to become conscious. Realize means it has to become reality for me in my life. Right now it is not reality, it's only a theoretical statement. But it has to become reality for me. How that happens is through the process of Bhakti Yoga, by practicing Bhakti Yoga. Bhakti Yoga is nothing but application of this jnana in our daily life. Apply. Right? The knowledge which will be still it's still in the book. The knowledge will just be in the book. If you don't apply, it is not going to bring about transformation. If you want transformation to happen in your life, then this knowledge which is in the pustaka has to first go into the mastaka. Mastaka means head. From pustaka it has to come to mastaka. And after that, it has to be practiced. Achara, it has to be applied in our life. With achara, under proper guidance, then you get vijnana, realization. So jnana becomes transformed into vijnana, realized knowledge, with guidance and with practice. Practice is very important. Right? So, I was telling there are two realities. The material world and the spiritual world. Okay. Just like in our body itself is a microcosmos. Our body is a micro or a mini cosmos. Cosmos means universe, existence. Our body itself is a miniature existence. Why? Just whatever you see in the universe, you see within the body also. What is that? Five elements. Isn't it? Bhumi, Rapo, Nalo, Vayu, Kham, Mano, Buddhi, Revacha. Five elements which are gross elements. Earth, water, fire, air and ether, which make up the universe, is also making up my body. And then there are three subtle elements also. Manas, Buddhi, Ahankara. Mind, intelligence, false ego. These are also treated as elements in the Bhagavad Gita, in the Sankhya philosophy. Right? So, totally 8 elements. 5 gross, 3 subtle. Sthula and Sukshma, it is called. Both are elements only. Elements means matter only, they are matter. But some matter is subtler than the other. For example, air. Air is also matter, but it is subtler than water. Water is gross. What do you mean by that? Water is grosser than air. What does it mean?
Easily to feel water than air.
Yeah, I can easily feel, I can have multi-sensory experience with water. I can see, I can touch, I can taste, I can smell, correct? But with air, only little lesser sensory experiences are there. What is that? I cannot see. Air I cannot see. Through air I can see everything, but air itself I cannot see. Correct? I can feel. I can smell. If it has some smell, I can smell. But compared to water, air is, we say it is less grosser or it is subtler. Correct? So in the same way, there is something subtler than the air. What is that? Mind. Mind is subtler than the air. I cannot see, I cannot touch, I cannot smell the mind. I can only feel. Therefore, mind is matter only, but it is subtler. It comes under subtle matter. Still finer than the mind is intelligence, buddhi. It is even more finer than the mind. Right? Why? When we say somebody who is very sharp, intelligent, we say he is very sharp, we say. Sharp, we say, right? What do you mean by that sharp? Sharpness. That sharpness is what? What is it? Quickly he is able to process what you are saying and quickly he is able to choose something, make a decision. Finer, very fine. Correct? So, subtler than the 5 elements is the mind. Subtler than the mind is the buddhi, intelligence. Subtler than the intelligence is, there is something called false ego. Ahankara. What is this ahankara? That I-ness. I exist. I am this body. I am the proprietor of this. You know that I, the sense of I-ness. That is called ahankara. So it is this ahankara which is making us think that we are this body. Understood? Now, is there something subtler than ahankara? Subtler than ahankara? That is soul. And now, subtler than ahankara, it is no more matter. It is spirit. Among all material things, the most subtlest thing is the ahankara. Above that there is no matter. Next we enter into a next reality called soul. Soul, yes.
What about light and electricity? Because our body has some electricity.
Yeah.
To function our body.
Yeah.
And radiations and that matter.
Yeah. All of these are interactions and effects of the gross matter only. It is gross. Even if you talk about light, photons. Photons are all what? Matter. So it is gross matter. Right? So what modern science is able to study is only 5 elements finally. Not even the subtle elements. Subtle Manus Buddhi Hankara, modern science is not able to access. Maybe psychology, if you talk about psychology, there some properties of matter are, of mind are studied. But above that, more than that, we don't find the modern science advanced, it has not advanced to that level. But what Bhagavad Gita is saying is even more subtler than that. What the present technology is not able to study, it is something beyond that. That is why many people say soul does not exist. Why? I am not able to see it, I am not able to, there is no experience of it, so soul does not exist. Then you should say air also does not exist because I cannot see. So seeing is different as you keep going from gross material to soul, the seeing definition keeps changing. Like I said, air, how to see air? By feeling. That's the only way to see the air. How to see earth? Yeah, through eyes I can see the earth. So how to see mind? Only feel. I can feel the thoughts, emotions. These are all coming up in the mind. So as your EQ increases, EQ means emotional quotient. You become better observer of your own mind, feelings and thoughts and emotions. You can also become observer of others' feelings, minds, thoughts and emotions. Now how to see the soul? Mind itself we can't see. Intelligence we can't see. See means here, as I said, seeing keeps changing. Definition of seeing changes as the matter becomes more subtler and finer. So how to see the soul is the whole Bhagavad Gita. The whole knowledge of Bhagavad Gita is meant for Atma Sakshatkara. This is called. Sakshatkara means realization. Because I am only the soul. I have to realize that I am the soul. So for that, there is jnana and there is vijnana. First understand theory and then practice, then you get realization. So if somebody says, I cannot see the soul through my eyes, therefore I deny the existence of soul, that means he doesn't know a way of seeing also. There's a different way of seeing soul. Just like there's a different way of seeing the mind. There's a different way of seeing the air. Understood? So here, Krishna is giving us an idea that the spiritual reality is totally opposite of what you have been seeing and experiencing and feeling in this material world. That is why he is giving the inverted tree analogy. The material reality is a perverted reflection of the spiritual reality. So what we see here is matter and opposite of that is antimatter. So already Krishna has defined the qualities of soul in the second chapter. Now when we say antimatter, now what we are talking about in science, dark matter, dark energy, that is not what we are talking about here. I don't claim that I'm going to put forward some theories about dark matter and all that. Here, antimatter, when I say the word antimatter, it just means opposite to the properties of matter.
Not physical antimatter.
Not physical. Not physical antimatter, correct. It is someone different. So Krishna gives, just to make us understand, he gives negative definition of soul. What does Krishna say? The soul cannot be cut into pieces by any weapons. The soul cannot be moistened by water. The soul cannot be dried by air. That means all that you are seeing here, that is not the soul. Soul is different. That's what he's saying. So here in the beginning of this chapter, Krishna is saying that this material world is actually the inverted reflection of the spiritual world. I'll just read one sentence, a few sentences from the purport. The material world is the perverted reflection, so the spiritual world must have the same variegatedness, but in reality. So, the Vedic statement is, what you see here is also there up in the spiritual world. But what you see here is temporary, what you see there is permanent. Right? So when we say this material world is Maya, you must have heard this sentence. Some people say Maya. Maya means illusion. Bhagavad Gita does not say this material world is Maya. The Bhagavad Gita says it is temporary reality. It is reality, but it is temporary reality. Don't become attached to temporary reality. You should take this as a clue. Right? When you see the reflection of a tree or a reflection in the river, when you see the reflection of the tree in the river and you see a fruit in that reflection, what does it mean? Should you jump into that river to eat that fruit? Should you? But we are all doing like that only. Right? What does it mean? When you see the reflection of fruit in the water, what does it mean? That means there is real fruit in the real tree. Correct? So now go for that real fruit. No, I want to jump into the river and eat that reflection fruit. What is the use? No use. You'll only get frustrated. Correct? You know that story? In nursery we used to read this story. That dog, greedy dog. You know the story of greedy dog? Once the dog had a bone. It got a bone to eat. So it was biting that bone and it was walking. Then when it walked, came across a lake. Okay. And then it saw its own reflection. So in the reflection, he saw there is one dog and the dog also has one bone. Okay. Now this dog thought, I have only one bone. If I get that bone also, I'll have two bones. I need more. I can enjoy more. Then it started barking at that dog. When it barked, what happened? The real bone fell into the water and it lost that also. This is a very nice story. So what is the lesson from this? What is the lesson?
Do not get tempted by the reflection.
Yeah. Do not get tempted by the reflection. Reflection should only give you
Some hint.
a hint that there is reality. Reflection is not reality. Reflection tells you that there is reality somewhere. Understood? So the material happiness that you are seeing, experiencing here, don't fall for it, Krishna says. It only gives you a hint that there is real happiness elsewhere. That is spiritual happiness. Human life is actually meant for that spiritual happiness which is eternal. Sat, Chit, Ananda. Sat means eternal. Chit means full of knowledge. Ananda means bliss. So what we are seeing here, the reflection of real Satchidananda, which is getting reflected on this material domain, don't fall for it. If you fall for it, you will miss the real thing. Just like the dog. We should not become like the greedy dog. Right? A reflection is temporary, for it is sometimes seen and sometimes not seen. But the origin from where the reflection is reflected is eternal. The material reflection of the real tree has to be cut off. That is the whole point. Our attachment to temporary reality has to be cut off. How to cut off? That also Krishna says here. Let us continue to read. Shloka number 2. We should be a little fast. Adhaschordhvam Prashtatastasya shakha guna pravruddha vishaya prabalaha. The branches of this tree extend downward and upward, nourished by the three modes of material nature. The twigs are the objects of the senses. This tree also has roots growing down, and these are bound to the fruitive actions of the human society. The real form of this tree cannot be perceived in this world. No one can understand where it ends, where it begins, or where its foundation is. But with determination, one must cut down this tree with the weapon of detachment. So doing, one must seek that place from which, having once gone, one never returns, and there surrender to that Supreme Personality of Godhead, from whom everything has begun and in whom everything is abiding since time immemorial. So, Krishna is saying, you should develop Vairagya. Vairagya is the axe to cut down this reflection tree. Now, it is told in a very interesting example, analogy. This is called this is called allegory. In an allegorical way it is told. What is an allegory here? The material existence, our attachment is like a tree, and that is reflection. And you need an axe to cut the tree, and that axe is called Vairagya, detachment. Now, many times when we hear the word Vairagya, we become very afraid. Oh, what is this Vairagya? Means I should give up everything and go to Himalayas? No. Vairagya means we should know what is not conducive for my journey in life, and I should keep away from such things. All of us, we already have some element of Vairagya in us. For example, suppose tomorrow is your most important exam, and today India versus Pakistan match is there, right? What will you do? That's a big, it's a very big, it's a very big, difficult situation to navigate through, and especially if you are a cricket lover and you don't miss any match. Like Arjuna, your position becomes.
Where are you to exam?
Huh?
Where are you to exam?
So now depends now. Which is your priority? You may develop Vairagya towards exam, or you develop Vairagya towards match. One of the two you have to choose, right? Or can you choose both?
But in this case, we can postpone to watch.
You cannot postpone your exam.
No, match we can see after the exam match.
You can always see recorded later, you can see highlights, you can see later. So that means what? You are choosing that right now, even though match is very good for me, I like match very much, but at this point of time I should not watch the match. That is Vairagya. Vairagya is always subjective to goal. My goal is I should do well in tomorrow's exam. If that goal is clear for you, then you will start seeing things. What are the things which are conducive to attain that goal? Let me accept all that. What are the things which are not conducive to attain that goal? Then let me get detached from that. Correct, no? So if goal is not clear, simply you cannot be, without intelligence you cannot simply develop Vairagya. Something I should give up, something I'll give up. No. Why you should give up? That also intelligently you should give up. How much to give up, when to give up. Arjuna was saying, now I want to give up this war, and I will go and maybe beg and lead myself, my life. Krishna said, you are a foolish person. Krishna did not approve that kind of a Vairagya. When your whole life, this is like a climax in your life. Climax scene, if the hero does not fight and he runs away, what kind of movie it is? Whole life you are prepared for this climax, and now you are saying, I want to run away. Krishna said, you are a foolish fellow. That means, if you want to renounce or detach from something, you must have intelligence. You must know what to give up, when to give up. You should not simply, unintelligently give up something. Oh, I am very detached, or I don't want anything. No. Yes?
So, what if it is like giving up and something and detaching something? Should be two different things, right? Because giving up is, like, for example, the example of exam. So, there we have exam, that's why we are not able to watch the match.
Yeah.
But while studying exam, I will have that the sense of attachment, right? Though I'm not watching,
Yeah.
but still that sense of attachment will be there, right? So that
Definitely.
means I'm not detached from the match.
Yes.
But what I feel is like it should be like whether there is exam or not, I should be able to detach from the match.
Huh.
Correct.
Correct.
It's not a compulsion.
Yes, understood. True, what you're saying is correct. That is next level. Detachment Pro Max. But first, you're saying that whether exam is there or not there, I should not have attachment to the match. If I watch is okay, if I don't watch also it's okay. It should be like that. That's what you're saying. That is next level. How do you come to that level is later. But first you should know, because I have exam, I should not watch the match. The exam that means there must be some compelling reason for you, no? That compelling reason why I should not watch the match. If that why, that's what I said in the beginning also, right? Clarity in life is so important. If there is no clarity, it will become ritualistic. It will become ritualistic. So Krishna does not endorse that kind of ritualistic detachment. So Arjuna, in his case, he is a warrior. From the very beginning of life, he has been trained as a warrior. And he has all the necessary skills. And he has a duty also, because now it is his duty to make sure that the evil will not win. The evil party should not win the war. The kingdom should not go to the evil Duryodhana. It is his duty. Because he has got powers. The Devatas had given him so many weapons before the war. He had done tapasya. Lord Shiva had blessed him with Pashupathastra. So many weapons he had got. Powers he had got. Now he is saying, I will not fight the war only. So what is this? So the point is, we should know. So when Arjuna got to know the goal of his life, then he said, I will fight. So Bhagavad Gita gives us that clarity. Why do I exist? Right? So many times people think life is meant for enjoyment. Eat, drink and be merry. That is their philosophy. Most of the people, kal ka kya, kuch nahi pata, aaj moj udayenge. This is life, isn't it? So why they are saying this? Why they are saying this? Either they don't know, or they don't bother to know what is the purpose of life. So Bhagavad Gita clearly says, if you fall for short-term pleasures, shadow pleasures, reflection pleasures, then you are losing the valuable human life, which is actually having the potential to achieve something higher. Understood? So Bhagavad Gita says that you have two options. Either you run behind temporary false pleasure, or you run behind real pleasure. Because ultimately all of us want pleasure. Right? The soul's nature is Anandamaya. Soul is, by nature, the soul is a pleasure seeker. We are pleasure seekers. But where are we seeking pleasure? That is the question. Where? Whether in the reflection, like the greedy dog, or real pleasure. That is the question. So Bhagavad Gita says, don't go for reflection. Anything which you get quickly, instant pleasure, it is a trap. Don't go for that. That's what Bhagavad Gita says. Right? So, let us go further. Krishna is saying you should cut this tree with the weapon called Vairagya, detachment. What is Vairagya? Staying away from very good. Staying away from unnecessary things. And how do you know what is necessary, what is unnecessary? How do you know? If you know the goal. What is the goal of life? If that is clear, then you can decide, no, based on that goal, I can decide whether it is necessary or not necessary. Just like I gave the example, tomorrow is exam. The goal of my current goal is I should pass the exam with good marks. Based on that, I should decide now whether match is necessary or not necessary. And if I'm convinced that match is not necessary, I should have the inner strength to say no to my mind. I will not watch the match today. That inner strength is required. That inner strength comes from sadhana, from practice. Sadhana. Understood? In the beginning, we will all fail. Doesn't matter. It's like a child trying to walk. Not that from day one, the child will be like Usain Bolt. Run. No. It will fall. We all have, how did we learn walking? We started holding things around us and walking. And then mother, father will be trying to encourage us, beta, chalo, get up. And we will fall. Top will fall. Then again we'll not give up. So in spiritual life, God does not see how many times you fell down. Because anyway, we are all fallen only here. But God sees how, after each fall, with what determination you again stand and march towards the goal. Correct? For that, some amount of detachment is necessary to keep away from things which are not necessary. Detachment is necessary to keep away from things which are not necessary. So therefore he's saying develop detachment. Right? How to develop detachment is a question. Now, there are two ways of developing detachment, or two processes. One is the process where you suppress your desires. Okay, suppress. Force your mind. Don't do. It's not good. Force. It's very difficult process. Very, very difficult. So this we can see an example for this Ashtanga Yoga in the 6th chapter of Bhagavad Gita. It's like going to the forest, sitting in an erect position and keeping away from everything else. Simply sit and do meditation. And at that time some thoughts will come. Then you should suppress. No. Keep away. No. Forcefully. That's not very easy. At least in the current period of time which we are living. It's not easy. Suppression of desires, suppression of thoughts is not easy. It's not good also. Right? There is an alternate path. The path of achieving a higher taste, experiencing a higher taste. Okay? When you experience higher taste, easy to give up lower taste. What is that example? Can you give an example? Suppose I give you two options. Okay, two options I'll give you. Dairy milk chocolate and 5,000 rupees. Two options are there. 5 rupees dairy milk, 10 rupees dairy milk chocolate, and I give you next to that I keep some 5,000 rupees, 10,000 rupees cash. Which one will you choose? Huh? Why?
Because we can buy more.
Huh?
We can buy more.
Which both? More dairy milk you can buy, and many more things also you can buy, isn't it? Not only dairy milk. Why only you are thinking about dairy milk? See, this is how the mind works. Like you can buy many more things also. No, why only dairy milk? Anyway, but if somebody says no, instant pleasure is important for me, then he will go for dairy milk. Now I want to enjoy. What do you call his decision? Is it intelligent decision? See, this fire, no, whatever money you have given me, it's only paper. I cannot eat. I have to take this money, go to one shop, purchase this thing, then only I will eat. But I don't have that much patience. Instant, abhi chahiye. Then he will take this chocolate and eat. But what is the problem with this choice?
He lost the better.
Yeah. So this is how mind makes a fool of us. That's why I said instant pleasure is always a trap. Instant pleasure, instant success. They'll say, no, watch this video, you will get the success mantra. Instant. Read this book, you'll become rich man in 6 months. You know? Why that person only who wrote the book only wouldn't have become rich. He's making everybody rich. You know, there is somebody has written, how to win friends. You know, how to win friends. And he himself committed suicide. The person who wrote that book, he could not make friends. He was feeling lonely. So, this kind of self-help books, shortcuts will not help. So, what is the process to achieve detachment? We have to experience a higher taste. You know that this 1,000 rupees or 10,000 rupees is higher. You should go for it. Even though this may not give me instant pleasure. I know the worth of it. I have experienced this is something higher than that. That means for detachment you need knowledge. Detachment is not simply choosing something and rejecting something. I should know the actual worth of it. So when you practice bhakti yoga, you can experience a higher pleasure. So many people, when Srila Prabhupada, the founder Acharya of the International Society for Krishna Consciousness, when he went to the West, to the US, so he came across the youngsters there in US, and his first audience were drug addicts. He had to talk to them. You know, drug addicts means they're seeing stars in the daytime. They're seeing everywhere. They come and sit. Prabhupada would do kirtan, and attracted to them, they would come and sit. But they were not there actually. Physically they were there, but they were somewhere else. Okay. So even if Prabhupada speaks philosophy, it was not so much hitting them. So Prabhupada would do kirtan, and he would give them prasadam. Okay. So they liked prasadam, so they started coming every day, regularly. Prasadam, they'll get nice free vegetarian fresh meals, free meals. Otherwise these people would be drunk or something, fallen on the road. They were called bums. Everywhere they'll be falling, just like that, without any. If you read this biography, many more books, you'll understand. So, but Prabhupada was so patient with them, tolerant, and he went on giving them these two things: singing, dancing, sankirtan, and prasadam. Now, they themselves were able to experience there is some joy here, you know, and they were able to give up their addictions to drugs and alcohol and all of that. It's not that particularly Prabhupada took them through a de-addiction program, this ill effects of drugs. Let me give you one PPT for this gyan everyone has. The person who is smoking, he knows smoking is injurious to health. In fact, on the cigarette packets now the patient's picture is put. Many doctors, they are smokers, chain smokers. Doctors, we think no, doctors know they know the body, but they can't control mind, you know. Knowing body is one thing, lungs is going to spoil, they know, but they can't give. So, unless you experience a higher pleasure, it is not possible to give up lower pleasure. And Bhakti Yoga exposes us to a higher level of pleasure. That is the whole point. So that's why we say this is transformational process. So now we all sat and heard some verses from Bhagavad Gita. Just by hearing these verses, nothing is going to happen. You have to go back and apply it. And how to apply? Can I go to some tapasya forest and do tapasya? Can I do that? No, it's not practical. So in Kali Yuga, the easiest way to apply this knowledge in our daily life is Harer Nama, Harer Namaiva Kevalam, Kalo Nasti, Eva Nasti, Eva Gatiranyatha. That means just by chanting the holy names of Krishna, one can attain the perfection in life. So after all the discussion, this is the final instruction. Chant the holy name of Krishna. Whatever knowledge is required, whatever vairagya is required, enlightenment, higher taste, higher pleasure, everything we can experience just by chanting the holy names of Krishna. Why? How is it possible? Because Krishna and Krishna's name, there is no difference. When you chant Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare, you are directly touching Krishna. Because there is no difference between Krishna and his name. He is absolute. So when you chant Krishna's name, you are directly touching Krishna. So and you should know how to touch Krishna nicely. By hearing nicely. You chant and hear. Srila Prabhupada gives an example of iron rod kept in fire. When you keep iron rod in fire, what happens? It becomes hot, red hot it becomes. Then you take out that iron rod and you touch it to some cloth. What happens? Cloth will burn. Because it's no more an ordinary iron rod. Because of its association with fire, it has become fire-like now. In the same way, when we chant Hare Krishna mantra and hear attentively, we get connected with Krishna. We get associated with Krishna. And Krishna is all spiritual. So when we touch Krishna by hearing nicely, we also re-spiritualize ourselves. We understand, yes, I am not the body, I am soul. Yes, I belong to Krishna. Yes, I should not seek temporary material pleasures. These realizations will come simply by chanting. So therefore this chanting is called the Yuga Dharma for Kali Yuga. It is the process recommended for everyone in Kali Yuga, chanting of the holy names. Okay? So now, Krishna says that you have to go to that place where having gone once you don't have to return. Isn't it? That's what we saw in the previous shloka. Now what is that place? Here Krishna says that. Please repeat. Na tad bhasayate suryo. Na tad bhasayate suryo. Na shashanko na pavakaha. Na shashanko na pavakaha. Yad gatva na nivartante. Yad gatva na nivartante. Tadhama paramam mama. Tadhama paramam mama. That abode of mine is not illumined by the sun or moon, nor by electricity. One who reaches it never returns to this material world. So, generally, we need a light source in this world. In the daytime, the light source is sun. In the night time, it is electricity, lamp. Because this material world is, by default, it is dark. By default, it is dark. But opposite to that, I told material world is opposite to the spiritual world. Spiritual world, by default, it is full of light. That's why he's saying here, you come to my house. Why are you living in this dark house? Dark room. Every time you need some source of light. Why? You come to my place. There is no sun, no moon, no electricity. No electricity bill will come for you. It's always illuminated. It is always full of light. In other words, it is full of knowledge. Light also signifies knowledge. So people who live in the spiritual world, they lead life based on knowledge and realization. That's why they are called liberated souls. Liberated means what? They are free from illusion. Free from illusion. How can you become free from illusion? By knowledge. That is the meaning of this Vedic statement. Asatoma sadgamaya. Tamasoma jyotirgamaya. Don't, ma means don't. Tamasoma, don't be in darkness. Jyotirgamaya, come to the knowledge of light of knowledge. So human life is meant for that. Asatoma, don't take pleasure in asat. Don't take pleasure in temporary happiness. Satgamaya, come to sat, come to eternal happiness. In this way, mrityorma amritangamaya. In this way, you can conquer death and come to the stage of amritatva. Amritatva means eternal life. That is soul's life. Our original life is eternal life. Because now we are identifying ourselves with the body, we have to die. And that's why no one wants to die. Why no one wants to die? Because the soul is actually eternal. But the body is imposing this limitation called death upon the soul, which the soul does not like. So if you want to become free from death, then you have to come to the soul platform. And how to come to that soul platform is through the practice of Bhakti Yoga. Now, am I alone in this journey? Okay, I have to make progress. I am alone? No. Krishna is saying, let us chant this 15th shloka. Sarvasya chaham hridi sannivishto Matta smriti jnanam apohanam cha Vedaischa sarvairahameva vedyo Vedanta krit veda videva chaham. So Krishna is saying, no, you are not alone. I am there with you. I am there with you. I am seated in everyone's heart. And from me come remembrance, knowledge and forgetfulness. So Krishna is saying, I am seated in your heart. Krishna is not far away from us. He is very much within us. Okay. So this form of God who is seated in our heart, he is called Paramatma. We are Atma. And the next door neighbor of the Atma is Paramatma. The next door is just there. But we don't know him. That is a problem. Many times, in city like Bangalore, we will be living in some house, we may not know who is our immediate neighbor only. We go to some far place and meet our known people and come back and close our doors. Somebody is sitting next to us, next house, we don't bother to speak to that person. And when problem comes, when danger comes, that person who is far away, by the time he comes, kahani katam. Instead, if you make friendship with the next door person, neighbor, he can immediately help you when you are in danger. So Krishna is saying, I am your next door neighbor, I am just there. But you are not bothered about me. You are bothered about everybody in this world. You are not bothered about me, I am seated in your heart. And Krishna is saying, I am waiting for you when you will turn your face towards me. I am waiting. From ages I am waiting. How do you know that he is waiting from ages? We have changed many bodies. And Krishna has been accompanying us in each body, in each lifetime he has been there. He has been giving us knowledge from within. If you want to do any work, you need some inner inspiration that is coming from Paramatma. And he gives knowledge, he gives intelligence, forgetfulness also he gives. Remembrance also he gives. In the exam, whatever you have studied, you have to remember, no? And then you have to write it on the paper. So Krishna is saying it is coming from me only. This remembrance is coming from me. So in other words, he is, without him we can't do anything. Atma, just like, in the atomic model when we study, the nucleus has protons, and around the nucleus there are orbits in which electrons are all moving, correct, around the nucleus. Now there has to be a neutralizing agent, otherwise all the electrons will just go and collapse into the nucleus because of the attractive forces. What is that neutralizing agent? Neutrons, correct? I have studied long back, I'm just recollecting the example. You have studied, right? Neutrons exist in the nucleus along with protons. If the neutrons do not exist, the electrons just collapse. Am I right? You can go back and check.
Hydrogen does not have neutrons.
Okay. So,
Can I say energy levels?
There is a strong nuclear force, I think.
Okay.
Which there is a repulsion.
yes. And neutrons contribute for that. Right? So, in the same way, the Atma cannot directly interact with material world, matter. The Atma needs a interface between itself, the spiritual reality and the material reality. And Paramatma is that interface. That is what the Vedic scriptures say. That means before the Atma sees, the Paramatma has to see. And only then the Atma can see. Before I do something, the Paramatma has to sanction it. Then I can do it. So Paramatma is like the interface between me and the world. Without Paramatma, I cannot interact with this world. That means even for my day-to-day requirements, my day-to-day activities, I am dependent on God as Paramatma. But I don't have time to say thank you to Him. So basic spiritual life means at least to be conscious that everything I cannot do, I am depending on God. Before this, in the previous chapters, Krishna has explained various ways in which we are dependent on Him. In this chapter only it comes. Suppose you are eating food. The food has to get digested. Right? So Krishna says, I am that fire of digestion seated in your heart. You may say, well, I didn't see, modern science has done so many dissections of the body. There is nobody called Krishna sitting inside digesting the food. Right? The digestive fire itself, if it doesn't work, the food that you eat will not get digested. You won't feel hungry also. According to Ayurveda, fire of hunger, if it is off, then how much you won't feel like eating, and even if you stuff your body, it won't get digested. That means fire of digestion is so important. And Krishna is saying, it is me who is controlling that fire of digestion. That means for everything in our life, we are depending on God. And a person who recognizes, we just have to recognize, that's all. He is called a spiritualist. We have to recognize and thank. Our heart should be grateful for all the things that we have been receiving from God. So in fact, a person who simply receives the benefits but does not feel gratitude, then he is not even a human being. So spiritual life means at least becoming a human being. If one is not a spiritual person, if one does not have spiritual understanding, then he is not even a human being. That's what the scriptures say. Right? So God is seated in our heart and He is witnessing all our activities. I will tell one short story about this and then close the chapter. So, there was one about, say, 400, in the 14th century, there was a devotee called Purandara Dasu in Karnataka. How many of you have heard of him? He's called Karnataka Sangeeta Pitamaha. He is the father of Carnatic music. And he was a great devotee of Lord Krishna. He has composed nearly 1 lakh, I think I'm wrong, more than that, songs in glorification of Lord Krishna. Lakhs of songs. So, he came to his guru. His guru was Vyasaraya in Hampi. So, Vyasa Tirtha, he's called Vyasa Tirtha. So, when he came, the others in the matha, they were all little not okay with this Purandara Dasa. They were all envious. Because his guru used to always praise him that you are a great realized soul. And the other disciples, they would feel bad. Why only him is glorifying? He came just yesterday, and today Guru is glorifying him so much. He is in the good books of the Guru. While we are all serving this Guru from so many years, and he did not tell like this any time for us. They were all envious. So one day, this Vyasa Tirtha, the spiritual master, wanted to show everybody what is the actual position of this Purandara Dasa, why he is glorifying him. So he arranged a test for everyone. You know, in Mahabharata also we see Dronacharya arranged a test for all the Kauravas and Pandavas in their childhood. What is that? He kept a bird in the tree, asked them to aim. What do you see? Everybody said, I see the tree, I see the scenery, I see so many things. Then I see the bird also. But Arjuna said, no, I'm only seeing the bird and particularly the eye of the bird. So he passed the test. When you see so many things, you get lost in the details. A person who is focused will achieve the goal. That's the moral of that story. Similar test, this Vyasa Tirtha arranged. This is the banana test. He called everybody and gave one banana to everybody. You know, a very modern, a very similar experiment has been done, I think, by some university in the US. Marshmallow experiment. So I think the origin of that marshmallow experiment is this banana experiment. It is a very interesting, you can do research on this. Marshmallow experiment on self-management. Very similar thing. So he called all the disciples and gave each of them one banana. He said, you should eat this banana in a place where no one sees you. No one should be able to see you. You should eat in such a place where no one can see you and you should come back. Those who do this, they are successful. They have passed the test. So all of them took banana. They said, what is the big deal in this? Banana eating I can do. So somebody went into a dark room, closed the door, they ate the banana. Somebody went inside the river Tungabhadra. Nobody is seeing. Inside the deep river he went. Maybe he had expert pranayama. And he ate the banana inside the river. I don't know how he ate. Water also would have gone inside. But he ate. So like this, everybody ate different places. They went, ate the banana, came back empty-handed. They all were thinking, oh, Guru will be very happy. But this Purandara Dasaru, he came back with the banana. He came back. So they were all laughing at him. Simple task also he could not finish. What is this? So then the Guru called everybody, made them sit. And he asked, everyone started telling their story, where all they ate. No one saw us successful like that. Then he asked, why didn't you eat Purandara? So he said, there is no place where God does not see me. In fact, He is present in my heart. Bhagavad Gita says that He is present in my heart. I may go to a dark place, but will God not know? He is seated in my heart. How Krishna will not know that I've eaten the banana? So when Purandara Dasaru said, so the spiritual master said, Vyasa Tirtharu said, you have actually passed this test. You have passed the test without eating the banana. Because there is no place where there is no God. God is present in every atom. He is present in our heart. We have to just become conscious of this. Person who is conscious of this, he is called Krishna conscious. He is called a spiritualist. The purpose of knowledge of Bhagavad Gita is to make us conscious. I am not alone. God is always watching me. Not from somewhere. He is watching right here in my heart. He is watching. He is conscious of all my thoughts. Therefore, I should lead my life based on what He says in the Bhagavad Gita. Right? What Krishna says, I have to lead my life based on that because He is constantly watching. Not out of fear, but to please Him. Some people may think out of fear I have to follow. In some religious books, fear is the dominant factor. Oh, if you don't listen to God, God will send you to hell. So out of fear, some people follow. That may be good to one level, but always fear cannot control our life. Somebody may develop a daredevil spirit also. What is that? Let him see. Oh, he will send me to hell. Okay, I'll go to hell. What is there? Somebody may come to that level also, right? So fear cannot actually control or help us in the long run. What helps us is love. God is my loving Father, and He has given me this valuable human life. Let me love Krishna. If I develop love for Krishna, what do you mean by loving Krishna? I have to lead my life based on what Krishna says in the Bhagavad Gita. Then I can please Him. So our life should not be based on fear. Our life should be based on love. Right? So that is the important lesson. So we will just read one page from this book that we do every week. This is a biography of Srila Prabhupada. This is called Prabhupada, the Messenger of the Supreme Lord. We will read one page only and then we will chant one round of Hare Krishna mantra. And with that we close the session. Questions we will take up after chanting. Downstairs, I'm available. We can discuss the questions. So, reading from Prabhupada, the Messenger of the Supreme Lord, Chapter 1, Struggling Alone. Bhakti Vedanta Swami, last time when we had read, we discussed how Srila Prabhupada went to the US and he was at the house of, anyone remembers? Whose house? Agarwal's house. So let's continue. Bhakti Vedanta Swami spoke to various groups in the community, including the Lions Club. He also gave a talk at the Y and at St. Fidel's Seminary College in Herman, Pennsylvania, and he spoke regularly to guests at the Agarwal home. He saw that the prospects for preaching to the Americans were good, but he felt he would need support from India. At any rate, after spending 1 month in Butler, he now had 1 month left in America. Why? His visa would get expired. So he decided to go to New York City and try to preach there before his time was up. But first he wanted to visit Philadelphia, where he had arranged a meeting with the Sanskrit professor Dr. Norman Brown at the University of Pennsylvania. As a sannyasi, Bhaktivedanta Swami was used to picking up and leaving one place for another. As a mendicant preacher, he had no remorse about leaving behind the quiet life of the Butler YMCA. And he had no attachment for the domestic habitat where he would cook and talk with Sally Agarwal about vacuum cleaners, frozen food, and American ways. But his stay in Butler had been helpful. He had gotten first-hand experience of American life, and he had gained confidence that his health was strong and his message communicable. He was glad to see that America had the necessary ingredients for his Indian vegetarian diet and that the people could understand his English. He had learned that casual one-time lectures here and there were of limited value, and that although there would be opposition from the established religions, people individually were very much interested in what he had to say. On October 18, he left Butler via Philadelphia for New York City. Sally Agarwal recollects, "After a month, I really loved the Swami. I felt protective in a way, and he wanted to go to Philadelphia. But I couldn't imagine. I told him I could not imagine him going to Philadelphia for 2 days. He was going to speak there and then to New York, but he knew no one in New York. If the thing did pan out in Philadelphia, he was just going to New York, and then there was no one. I just couldn't imagine. It made me sick. I remember the night he was leaving, about 2 in the morning. I remember sitting there as long as he could wait before Gopal took him to Pittsburgh to get on that bus. Gopal had a handful of change, and I remember telling him how to put the money in the slot so that he could take a bath at the bus station, because he was supposed to take a bath a few times a day. And Gopal told him how to do that and told him about the automates in New York. He told him what he could eat and what he couldn't eat, and he gave him these coins in a sock, and that's all he left us with. Even for a few days, she had become so attached to Prabhupada. Bhaktivedanta Swami knew no one in New York City, but he had a contact, Dr. Ramamurthy Mishra. He had written Dr. Mishra from Butler, enclosing a letter of introduction that a friend had given him in Bombay. He had also phoned Dr. Mishra, who welcomed Bhaktivedanta Swami to join him in New York. At the Port Authority bus terminal, a student of Dr. Mishra's met him as he arrived from Philadelphia and escorted him directly to an Indian festival in the city. There, Bhaktivedanta Swami met Dr. Mishra as well as Ravi Shankar and his brother, the dancer Uday Shankar. Bhaktivedanta Swami then accompanied Dr. Mishra to his apartment at 33 Riverside Drive beside the Hudson River. The apartment was on the 14th floor and had large windows overlooking the river Hudson. Dr. Mishra gave Bhaktivedanta Swami a room to himself. Dr. Mishra was a dramatic, showy personality given to flashing glances and expressive gestures with his hands. He regularly used words like lovely and beautiful. Presenting an artfully polished image of what a guru should be, he was what some New Yorkers referred to as an uptown Swami. Although a sannyasi, he did not wear the traditional saffron dhoti and kurta, but instead wore tailored Nehru jackets and white slacks. His complexion was dark, whereas Bhaktivedanta Swami's was golden, and he had thick black hair. At 44, he was young enough to be Bhaktivedanta Swami's son. Dr. Mishra had been suffering from bad health when Bhaktivedanta Swami came into his life, and Bhaktivedanta Swami's arrival seemed the perfect medicine. Dr. Mishra recollects, His Holiness Prabhupada Bhaktivedanta Goswami Ji really knocked me down with love. He was really an incarnation of love. My body had become a skeleton, and he really brought me back to life. His cooking, and especially his love and his devotion to Lord Krishna. I was very lazy in the matter of cooking, but he would get up and have ready. Dr. Mishra appreciated that Bhaktivedanta Swami, cook with the precision of a chemist, would prepare many dishes and that he had a gusto for eating. Dr. Mishra recollects, it was not bread he gave me prasadam. This was life, and he saved my life. At that time I was not sure I would live, but his habit to eat on time, whether I was hungry or not, that I very much liked. He'd get up and say, all right, this is Bhagavan Prasadam, and I would say, all right. Srila Prabhupada ki jai.